weakness, I think, is a generally unfair question. We don't have weaknesses. The weakness we have to determine, is it a weakness that we have to overcome, or is it just a weakness? If you're not on the sales team, you don't have to be great at sales. You need to be great at something else. And if your weakness is sales, that might not be something you need to work really hard on. So when you're choosing a weakness, what I generally tell people to do is you can offer up something where you have limited experience. So it's not something that you do poorly. It's something you haven't had a chance to do that is a skill that needs to be grown, and hopefully you're choosing something that is not vital to the position you're interviewing for. So you want to try to choose something where that's kind of the makeup. So it's one of my greatest weaknesses is I don't have as much experience working in these types of solutions here, or something that's not completely related to the position itself. That's the way I would choose those. And then pick something. You don't need to be totally over the top. Just pick something that you would like to grow, but that isn't as vital to getting hired.
One of the other questions that always comes up in interviews, and it's almost cliche at this point, are strengths and weaknesses. And I think, I want to take them individually because usually people do get them individually. And, when people say, what are your strengths? How should people answer that without coming off as obnoxious?
So let me pop up some of the steps you want to do for strengths question. So first, you want to name the strength that matches a key competency for the role. Now, I'm not someone who typically says you should self-describe all the time in the interview, but here you might say, okay, one of my best strengths is really detailed project management. Okay, so you're stating that, but here's the key, Andrew. In order for us to move away from being braggy or just kind of not having enough content in there for them to truly believe it's your strength, you need to then give them an example of a time you exemplified that strength. So for example, I built out the entire project management flow for my last company where I did X, Y, and Z, which led to A, B, and C results. So then it feels like they truly can see your strengths because you're giving an example versus you just being like, I'm just really organized. I am a driven professional and you can always count on me. No one wants to hear that.
So when it comes to the weaknesses, I think a lot of people fall on the crutch of, and again, I think this might be a cliche, where they say, I work just too hard, or I'm a perfectionist. And it's just like, no, you're not. And I think most people will say that that's a terrible answer.
So here's what you want to do is you want to first kind of understand something that you're not that great at. It's obviously has to be related. Like, I think once I was like, oh, I'm bad at memorizing things. I think I said that when I was in college, when I was interviewing for something. The job had nothing to do with memorization, but I just blurted out. You want to name something that's actually legitimately a skill that could be used in the job. So you name something you're not that great at. And then the step 2 is what's so important, is that you explain how you've been working on it. So this shows that you're humble. You notice that you're not perfect, but you're someone who is constantly trying to get better and improve yourself. And then the step 3 is explain the results of you working to improve. So this could look something like, I've never been that good at sales. And I thought that was okay, but actually working in human resources, I've learned that there's a lot of internal sales that has to happen in order to get buy-in on a lot of my major projects. So what I've been doing is I've been reading To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink, and I've been doing this and that. And what I found is the last time I had a major proposal for a learning and development initiative that was going to have a budget of over $40,000, I was able to push it through 3 weeks faster because I started to integrate some of these selling principles. I still think I have a long way to go, but it's something I really want to keep working on, especially as I'm trying to gain higher leadership positions. So that could be an example of something you would say.
Thanks for watching. Some great advice there. Hope you found it useful and informative. If you're looking for additional guidance on your career journey, click the buttons on the screen to see the next video in the series, or watch the full-length episode for more tips. Both videos are also listed in the description below.